All right, guys, welcome back. Having a little bit of hard time finding motivation this morning. I'm not quite sure if it's because of the rain or because I'm tired or what the deal is, but just not really feeling it today. But anyways, we are back out in the shop today, try to make some more progress on the truck here. And as you can see, we got a good little list of stuff left to do. Anyways, last night we spent entirely too long working on an AirDog install. I think I kind of showed good clips of what we were doing, but neither one of us were really happy with either one of the mounts that come with the factory AirDog stuff. So we spent a while trying to figure out how we wanted to do it. And as I showed, what we ended up doing, we put some nutserts in the frame and bolted the AirDog mount directly to it. Made a couple little spacers to hold it off of the frame a little bit, and turned out pretty good. There's no mounts to see. We were able to get the AirDog tucked up a little higher and get it out of the way. That way you can't see it. And actually, if you kind of look right here, you can see the AirDog is just barely visible because of those step bars. But it's up beside the frame, so that way we don't have to worry about anything hitting it going down the road, hopefully. And yeah, it turned out pretty clean. Also, we started working on return lines. We're doing pretty much everything is braided except for the AirDog return. And cleaned up the fuel tank. It was full of road grime from being, 16 years old now. So anyways, we cleaned that up, got it put back in. And like I said, this is your CP3 return. And not sure if you'll be able to see, but we did a AN return for, you can see it down here. This is the return coming off of the back of the head. As you know, most of the time they're a hardline banjo fitting style and a little bit aggravating to get on. Now you can just disconnect it down here when you pull the head off, and it's easier to access, easier to get loose. And yeah, also, like I said, the factory line didn't fit around the intake shelf on this D&J, so this kind of helped out with that. But for now, all the fuel lines are hooked up and ran, other than the return line off of the AirDog. So for now, I'm gonna try to get on that, get the return line ran up here on the top of the tank. As we said in the last video, the truck we were building, and this one will be the same. You return into your factory feed. You just had to modify the pump in the tank. So we'll be returning back to that fitting, and then we have to run some wiring. As for the wiring, I'm probably gonna end up putting a distribution block on it to be able to run the AirDog 2 and some of the other accessories, just to keep it clean and simple. And also gonna make up some new battery terminals and stuff like that for this truck, just because the other stuff was in rough shape. So, but anyways, that's kind of the direction on where I'm gonna get started on today, is just working on new grounds, new battery leads, and finishing up the AirDog install. So anyways, take you guys along, and then tonight we're gonna try to hopefully wrap up everything else that's left to be done on the truck. So anyways, stay tuned.
There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want.
see how much life I got left in it. It's 4,000 amps for about 30 seconds. So
Yeah.
Well, as long as it ain't in four-wheel drive, the back drive shaft ain't in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Lit up in neutral. Park brake supposedly on.
So to take it back just a little bit, we didn't do a whole lot of explaining ourselves or videoing a whole lot for that matter, just because we were kind of on a tight time schedule. We really wanted to push to have this truck running today, and so we were trying to get everything knocked out we could with the little amount of time that we had. So anyways, as you saw, I guess stepping back a little bit, the downpipe on this thing, it's a 5-inch pie cut downpipe. It maintains factory AC and pretty much everything factory, and it fit like a glove. Nathan did an awesome job fabbing it up, and his buddy Owen welded it up for us, and it turned out great. We still have to make up the intercooler pipe and intake, but that's not a big deal. We're going to work on that this coming week. Also, we got the fuel tank put back in, the AirDog stuff finished up and all put together. We ran new braided hoses on all of it, thanks to Kevin, Full Send. Those guys hooked us up with all the braided stuff we need on this truck. We also did I guess you'd say a coolant reroute hose for all of the hard line stuff that runs to your factory heat exchanger on the side of the block. Got rid of all of that and basically made a new heater hose out of AN stuff from them guys. So that fit really nice. And also we used the Full Send Diesel DIY turbo feed and drain kit, and that worked out great also. We finished up all the wiring, got the battery, alternator, all the grounds, everything done. We went through, and the AirDog harness I wasn't happy with. There was no clean way to run it in the way that I needed everything ran. So I pretty much cut the harness all up and remade it the way that we needed. And as you saw, if you look back in the video, the harness basically runs to a distribution block under the driver's side door. And I shortened things up, lengthened some things when they needed to be, and ran everything through a distribution block, have all the grounds right there by it, and it really cleaned everything up and everything worked great. So going into last night, we wanted to test everything out and just make sure we had power and make sure that the lift pump would come on, and we were going to try to prime the fuel system and everything to get it ready for a startup attempt today. So we ran everything, got everything ready to go, put the batteries terminals on, and we started getting lift pump and the injectors clicking. And so we figured, first thought, okay, maybe the key is on. Well, the key wasn't on. And so from there, we started trying to troubleshoot what was going on. When you open the door, you got no lights inside the cab, cut the key on, no power to anything. And so nothing was working inside the truck. Started checking over harnesses, we checked all kinds of stuff. And long story short, what it came down to was we had a messed up ground on the cab. So the cab wasn't grounded to the chassis or the block anywhere, and so it was causing everything to go haywire. So this morning we come out and made up a few more grounds. We ground the cab to the chassis, grounded cab to the block, also put an extra ground on the computer just to make sure everything is happy, and cut the key on, had power to everything like we needed. So cycled fuel through everything. We went ahead, filled the transmission fluid up, and had a few more odds and ends we went through and buttoned up first thing this morning. We were going to push back starting the truck just to make sure we had everything 100%, but we decided we had everything ready. It was good enough. We could run it and do the break-in on this thing. So when we were cranking, the truck would try to hit when the starter was engaged, but as soon as you let off the key, it stopped trying. So as you know, on your 03 to 05 trucks, you have 3 injector harnesses as opposed to the 2 on the 06 and later. But the front and back ones were swapped, and that's what the issue was. So swapped them where they needed to, cranked on it, the truck fired right up instantly. Let the truck run for probably 20 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes for break-in at 1,800 to 2,000 RPMs. And we didn't see any leaks on anything whatsoever. So really great success on startup, actually. Everything seemed great. Turbo feels fine. Like I said, it's an older Charger, and it feels great. Literally everything went amazing, as good as you could ask for. This truck has a massive fuel system on it and is on stock tuning right now, so it was a little smoky, but all of that's going to get lined out when it gets some tuning revisions here shortly. But anyways, like I said, today was really a success. We had very little issues throughout this whole process. So we're happy with it, and we're ready to move forward. So going forward, we got the front shocks out. They were a little bit of a pain. One of the bolts broke off, just dumb stuff. Got the leveling kit out. We're putting it back to stock ride height. I'm going to put some new shocks all the way around this thing. Also, the wire going to the factory fan clutch was damaged. So we had a spare on the shelf. We were going to replace it with the one that we had, which was off of 07. Well, that harness needed a different bracket to support the wire. And then when we went to take the bracket off of the 07 to put on it, that didn't work either. So that fan clutch wasn't going to work without any kind of major modification or swapping to the different style fan shroud, which we didn't have a spare of. So we decided, screw it, we're going to put electric fans on it. Then when the truck got running, we found that this radiator, which is a spare radiator because there was damage to the previous one, this radiator has a crack in it. So going to go with a new radiator also. New radiator, electric fans, new shocks all the way around. The spare brake lines that I had weren't the right ones for this, so we've got to replace those. While the springs are out, when we put in shocks and take the leveling kit out and all, we're going to go ahead and paint the rest of the frame. So anyways, just a handful of odds and ends. Another thing, these bolt holes right here, the ones that hold like your intercooler radiator, I think all of those, the inserts were broke out of. So we drilled them out, put nutserts in them. And so probably going to repaint that bar this week too. Everything else is fresh. Might as well paint that as well. But like I said, a handful of little things left, but the truck runs. It should drive. Everything seemed really good. So really an overall success. It was a pretty good day and nothing to complain about. But anyways, we got what we wanted. We had some smoke today. Truck fired right up, and we're really excited to move forward. But anyways, that's going to pretty much sum us up for this weekend. So thank you guys for watching. Like I said, not a a whole lot interesting to watch unless you like watching a truck get put together and seeing the first startup. But other than that, next time we're back, we'll be wrapping this thing up, and we should be going on the first test drive with it very soon. So anyways, 4-wheel drive burnout's loaded. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we will see y'all next time.